Here this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Heather, we did not get to you in the last segment, but we are going to get to you now. There is a big tax cut underway coming to benefit the state of Maine and get our economy going. I was told last night that over a 4-year period, it's going to be worth about $525 million, the largest tax cut in the history of the state of Maine. What can you tell us about it?
Well, we're really excited about this. This means that 70,000 low-income filers starting in 2012 will benefit from this. They won't be paying any income tax at all. And
So it's a tax cut for the poor.
it's a tax cut for the poor.
Well,
exactly.
even Strimling said it was a tax cut for the rich. It
Well,
sounds
I
like a
think-
tax cut for the poor.
I think he's mistaken.
What's the cutoff? Where's the bar?
The cutoffs are, let me see, I've got a little list here because there are a lot of facts and figures here for me to figure out. The standard deduction for married couples filing jointly is projected to be $9,800 according to MRS. The Taxation Committee's change increases that to $15,000, and an estimated 134,000 families will benefit from this adjustment.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
So that's big.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
But 70,000 low-income Mainers who actually are paying taxes will no longer have to pay income tax. That's huge. That's a real benefit and a shot in the arm to low-income Mainers.
Exactly. A family of 4 would owe no income tax if their income is below $35,750, and that's compared to the current threshold of $21,400.
And
So that's
for
huge.
That's
single,
huge.
what about single folk?
Single filers.
I just wondered because there were split families.
I think it was 30,000. I think it's currently
Yes.
19,000, and it's increasing to
I think
30,000.
you're right about that.
What do we hope to accomplish with this tax cut?
More money in people's pockets means that they can pay their bills and they can generate more income into their local communities, and I think it's a win-win. It's a win for the state, and it's a win for helping people lift out of poverty and come off those welfare rolls. I serve on Health and Human Services Committee, and this will help them segue out of that dependent entitlement kind of
Well, that's great.
atmosphere they're in.
But you know, the legislature gets nervous if there's a fiscal note attached to it. What's it going to cost the state for this economic shot in the arm?
Well, it will cost on one hand and save on another,
Yeah.
so we have to balance that out
And
because our welfare costs are very.
Yeah, and over time it's going to terribly make itself known, because if people have the disposable income to put back in the marketplace, it seems to me it's economics 101, and we just want these people to do it. That's why there are stimulus checks cut on the federal level to get all of this back into the economy. So this is a great way to do it. I'm glad to see this.
Exactly.
No, I think you're right about that. In fact, I've already started to hear from friends around the country. It says, here, I hear you guys are cutting the income tax. People know we have one of the highest state income tax rates in the country at 8.5%. The threshold currently is very low. It's $19,000 with adjusted gross income, which means basically you can be getting welfare benefits and be taxed at the highest level in our state.
Exactly.
That's insane.
It is
Yeah, it
insane.
really is.
I think we're the only state in the union that has some of those numbers.
Wow. How do you feel about the budget overall? It's chugging along, and I know there's some divisiveness, and it's like making sausage. You never want to see how it's made, but sometimes in the end it's supposed to be good stuff. How's it coming?
Well, personally, I would have voted for the budget back in March. I loved Governor LePage's budget, but that's not how it worked out. So working with a 2/3 majority for this budget, it's basically in the Appropriations Committee's hands right now. They're really working, as you say, making sausage with this.
Yeah.
There are some things I know the governor is very firm on, and he is not going to budge on some of those. And I think Appropriations Committee is aware of some of the pension reform issues that are very important to the governor and so forth.
Amy, are you as a fan as everyone else on this budget? Are you all right, or is this is this process still kind of aggravating, to say the least?
No, I don't think it's aggravating, and my committee was sort of odd in that we don't actually, sadly, don't spend a whole lot of money on economic development. So, and the labor department is mostly federal funds. So we didn't really have that much to do with. But these two ladies with Health and Human Services, huge piece of the pie, and welfare reform is something that they've worked really hard on this session. And we're hoping that the Appropriations Committee does doesn't change much. They worked hard on it. They presented it to appropriations. Very, very reasonable, well thought out measures. And so we're hoping that they are not going to cut into that too badly, because then you're going to have to take from the tax package to pay for it. And that's the trade-off. And that's the give and take. The Democrats clearly are in favor of maintaining a lot of the health and human services programs where they're at right now.
Right.
Historically, they have had no interest in cutting those. In fact, they've increased them. Republicans obviously want tax relief for working families, for businesses, yes, for business owners who sometimes do pay a lot in taxes. So they are going to benefit from tax relief more than somebody who pays, $300 or $400 a year in income taxes. That's mathematics.
Mathematics are giving back more.
You're
Giving back
absolutely
more.
right
Amy.
about that.
Thank you. Well said.
Beth, let me ask you, you're on the Health and Human Services Committee.
Yes, I am.
If you could wave a magic wand, what would be the number one thing you would do?
Oh my goodness, there are so many things. We had visited some of the Alzheimer's homes, and that to me should be a priority because I see the way that affects people.
Well, is there a lack of something going on there?
There is. As a matter of fact, we went to one of the homes that was in Gardner, and it was an excellent day treatment program, which gave people, they would take their loved ones in and leave them for the day. They could get some relief and go out and be able to get their grocery shopping done and know that their loved one was in a safe place. And one of the things that I noticed, and I had spoken to them about, was they were just minimally affected. They get main care money for this, and they were $240,000 short on their budget, and things like this could cause them to close. And when I look at issues like that, these are some of the people, no fault of their own, and they are in circumstances that are very, very difficult, and I would love to be able to help them. And and I also see the Office of Substance Abuse. I know that we had an incredibly huge cut on the board for that, and we were able to restore quite a bit of the funding. That was extraordinarily important to us because we know that when people have a problem, if we don't take care of that problem and address it in a proper manner, that it's going to wind up costing us more money in the long run. These people they'll have to go to our prisons, they'll be in our mental hospitals, and it's a very difficult position. So we did restore some of the funding to that, and we made very, very difficult decisions on the Health and Human Services Committee and worked very, very hard to deliver what we thought were fair and appropriate cuts in appropriate places. And
It's a tough area because everyone has an opinion and
very difficult.
Sure.
Heather, we've only got about 30 seconds. Let me ask you, you all three campaigned, you're freshman legislators, you came in the big Republican wave. At the end of this process, when you adjourn in the next 10 days or so, will we see a significant difference in how the government's being run after your efforts than we did before?
I hope so.
I would say I hope so. Being a freshman, it's really hard for me to gauge. I don't know. We've worked really hard this session, and we have, as Representative O'Connor just mentioned, on the Health and Human Services Committee, we worked really hard making some tough decisions, feeling that it wasn't right to pass the buck to the Appropriations Committee.
Gotcha. You guys are doing great. Thank you very much for coming and sharing all of that. Good luck to you.
Thank you for having us.
Good. Thank you.